We start off with the latest on the Afghanistan crisis. 2 days after the Taliban took control of Kabul, the Taliban's top political leader and co-founder Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar has returned to Afghanistan after decades. Baradar arrived in Kandahar along with a delegation. This comes as the Taliban are now meeting with Afghan leaders, a bid to form what they call an inclusive Afghan government. Anas Haqqani, who is the youngest member of the Taliban's negotiating team, also met with Gulbuddin Hekmatyar in Kabul. He also met with former President Hamid Karzai and Abdullah. With the Taliban now controlling the Afghan capital, residents must now pass through a number of checkpoints to get around, including in the formerly heavily secured green zone of Kabul. While the scenes in the capital are relatively peaceful, in Bamiyan, reports suggest that the Taliban decapitated a statue of Abdul Ali Mazari. He was a leader of the Hazara ethnic group who was killed by the Taliban in 1996. For the Hazaras, Mazari is a champion in the long Afghanistan war. In the city of Jalalabad, the Taliban also opened fire at the protesters who were demanding the reinstallation of Afghanistan's flag in offices instead of the Taliban flag that has been installed. The move now raises questions about whether they have truly changed. This comes as the Taliban held their press briefing since consolidating power. According to the Taliban, women will be allowed to study and work. But this did not come without a caveat. All this will be allowed within the limits of the Sharia law. Hardly any women were seen in the Afghan capital, but a small group struck a conciliatory tone, chanting and holding up signs in a small protest against the Taliban. For more on these developments, our correspondent Anas Malik joining us live from Kabul. Anas, take us through what you have been seeing around you over the last few hours, ever since the Taliban delivered that press conference after taking control of Kabul. We've seen some women also take to the streets, mustering up the courage to protest against the Taliban.
Well, yes, day 3 of the Taliban rule in Kabul, and there seems to be some semblance of life, though women are still missing from the roads. I'm standing in Shehr-e-Nau area of Kabul city, and this is one of the busiest markets in the entire city. It's called the heart of Kabul, and today as well on day 3 straight, I'm having a hard time finding women on the streets of Kabul. By and large, there seems to be some semblance of life. We've seen markets opening up, we've seen traffic running, we've seen some traffic jams and gridlocks as well. But by and large, as I said, if I talk to you specifically about women and their participation as we speak, after the Taliban took over, that is almost second to none. The hotel there where I am, all of their female staff has gone on leaves as well. It is pertinent to mention that the Taliban have taken over control of security on all major buildings. They say, or they claim, that since they are the state, therefore the security lies with them. Yesterday evening we saw the arrival of Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, the co-founder of the Afghan Taliban, in Kandahar on a Qatari Amiri Air Force plane, and he, what we understand is that he has been holding meetings with different factions of the Taliban. He would be emerging with the Haibatullah Akhundzada, the leader of the Afghan Taliban, the Amir of the Afghan Taliban, very soon. What we understand is, what we are given to learn from our sources is that Sirajuddin Haqqani, the deputy Amir of the Afghan Taliban, is to appear in Kabul very soon as well. Anas Haqqani, the youngest brother of Siraj Haqqani, who was the youngest member of the negotiation team as well, he has arrived to Kabul from Doha, and the Taliban now seem to be putting up a diplomatic face, a young diplomatic face, after their military offensive. And today Anas Haqqani met Hamid Karzai, Abdullah in a joint meeting, and then just a while back he met Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, the former Prime Minister as well, and who was a Mujahideen leader. This looks like an attempt that to go for a more inclusive government, because it is pertinent to mention that both Abdullah Hamid Karzai and Gulbuddin Hikmatyar are part of the council that would be processing, that would be responsible for a peaceful transition. So therefore, these meetings seems like it is part of a fresh move in order to give a new face on the part of the Taliban. Yesterday we saw Zabihullah Mujahid addressing a press conference. He declaring that a clean sheet for everybody. He said that the war has ended. They've given a clear-cut amnesty. He said that they would want the women to join, to go back to work, to join the government as well. But that comes with a caveat, and that caveat is that within the framework of Islamic Sharia. What will be the interpretation of Islamic Sharia? Nobody knows about that. Who will be interpreting the Islamic Sharia? Nobody knows that. Additionally, if I talk to you, we've seen some incidents as well where people are coming out with the Afghan flag, and we've seen violence because of them coming out and defying the Taliban flag.
Right.
We've seen that happen just a while back in Jalalabad. It is pertinent to mention that tomorrow is the Afghan Independence Day. So amidst all of this, in some hours from now, what flag will be raised at the Afghan Presidential Palace? Would it be the tricolour of the Afghan Republic, or will it be the black and white flag of the Islamic Emirate? That is something to be seen. Molly?
Right. Speaking of which, Anas, we have been getting in those reports of what's happening in Jalalabad. At least 3 have been reported dead following those anti-Taliban demonstrations in Jalalabad. If you can get us up to speed with what you're picking up at this point.
Well, what happened was in Jalalabad that, as I mentioned, that tomorrow is the Afghan Independence Day, and what we have learned very credibly from the Afghan Taliban sources that they want to replace the Afghan flag, the tricolour Afghan national flag, that is of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, with that of the white and black flag, which bears La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, that of the Afghan Taliban. So people took to the streets in Jalalabad in defiance. Even now, if you can see behind me, there are convoys that are moving of the Afghan Taliban. We see vehicles like these moving in and out, patrolling the streets of Kabul. And one such incident actually happened where people took the streets of Jalalabad with the tricolour, but they were asked to go back. Not in the ideal most manner. There was violence, there was gunfire, and we've seen reports rather in a section of the Afghan media that even journalists were thrashed because of it. Molly?
Anas, we're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for those updates. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.